You won't believe what Belgium is sending to Ukraine. Find out now. Trump demands immediate peace in Ukraine and complete Pentagon overhaul to avoid World War III. U.S. Air Force officials reveal shocking truth about air battles in Ukraine, fighter jets rendered worthless. What secret weapon is Belgium send to Ukraine? If Trump becomes president, will he end the war? Let's answer on these questions in this video. The Ministry of Defense of Belgium intends to transfer 240 military trucks to the armed forces of Ukraine. De Standard, a Belgian news outlet, cited by European Pravda, reported that the initial batch of Volvo Cargo, Volvo Shelter, Volvo Fassi, and Volvo Monument trucks will be shipped to Ukraine as early as next week. Belgium's army possesses 400 Volvo trucks, some of which are covered or have a crane, and some of which are tow trucks. While new vehicles are expected to arrive in Belgium throughout the year, the majority of the old ones will be sent to Ukraine instead of being gradually phased out and decommissioned. The Belgian Defense Ministry said there is often a focus on arms supply, but Ukrainian units also eagerly anticipate the arrival of these trucks. Logistics is at least as important as weapons during conflict. The trucks, which have been in operation since the early 1990s, underwent extensive inspection and repairs a few months ago. The Ministry of Defense is confident that the 240 trucks being sent to the Ukrainian army are in good condition. All the manuals and spare parts that were still in stock are also included in the shipment. The Defense Ministry has dismissed the notion that the Belgian army is sending its old junk to Ukraine, stating that thorough consultations are taking place in the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. Nothing is supplied to Ukrainians that they have not requested and needed. Defense Minister Ludovine de Donder remarked that Belgium evaluates Ukraine's every request in terms of the Defense Ministry and industry capabilities. She also stated that 100 Belgian military instructors will participate in training Ukrainian soldiers. As for the military trucks, Volvo's primary benefit is the simplicity of its controls. Ukrainians do not require additional training to operate and maintain the Belgian trucks. Since the onset of the Russian conflict in Ukraine, Belgium's treasury has frozen €58 billion worth of Russian assets, the most significant amount of any EU member state. All shooting must stop. Trump calls for peace in Ukraine conflict, says Pentagon needs to be overhauled. On Thursday, ex-President Donald Trump demanded immediate peace in Ukraine, while also calling for a complete overhaul of the Pentagon and urging the Biden administration to prioritize the U.S.'s relationships with other world powers. Trump stated that the world was on the brink of World War III and urged new leadership to avoid a global conflict between nuclear-armed powers. He also claimed that the current proxy battle in Ukraine risked global war and called for an end to hostilities without delay. In February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, resulting in a massive attack across the latter country. The U.S. has provided Ukraine with over $100 billion in aid, including 31 M1 Abrams main battle tanks and a battery of MIM-104 Patriot surface-to-air missiles. Trump also criticized the globalist neocon establishment and the need for complete overhaul and reconstitution of the State Department, the defense bureaucracy, and the intelligence services to prioritize America first. During an interview with Fox News host Tucker Carlson, Trump stated that the U.S. aims to help secure Europe, but that Europe is relying too much on the U.S. to do the job for them. Fighter jets are worthless over Ukraine, and it's a sign of what U.S. pilots and troops may face in future battles. U.S. Air Force officials say that after a year of fighting, neither the Russian nor Ukrainian air forces have been able to achieve dominance over the skies in Ukraine. This has significantly restricted the role of their fighter jets and is a preview of what U.S. troops could encounter in the future. Although both Russian and Ukrainian aircraft are still active, each side's air defense weapons, including the Soviet-era S-300 anti-aircraft systems or newer shoulder-fired missiles like the US-made Stinger, have compelled the other to make tactical adjustments. Rather than sending aircraft to provide close air support over the front lines, they resort to launching less accurate rocket attacks from longer distances. According to General James Hecker, commander of U.S. Air Forces in Europe, Ukraine is estimated to have lost more than 60 aircraft, while Russia has lost more than 70. Russia's larger air force still has jets to commit to the war, as does Ukraine, Hecker told reporters at the Air and Space Forces Association Symposium on March 6. However, there is a problem. Both the Russian and the Ukrainian success in integrated air and missile defense have made many of those aircraft worthless. They're not doing a whole lot because they can't go over and do close air support, Hecker said. Russian aircraft can target Ukrainian aircraft behind the front lines using long-range sensors and missiles, further limiting Ukrainian operations. Still, Kyiv's jets continue to launch strikes on Russian forces, often relying on U.S. weaponry to do so. U.S. Air Force officials have warned that the inability of Russian and Ukrainian air forces to gain control of the skies over Ukraine could pose a problem for U.S. troops in future conflicts. Anti-aircraft weaponry on both sides has made fighter jets less effective and forced adaptations in tactics, including the use of less accurate rocket attacks from long range. While Ukraine is estimated to have lost over 60 aircraft and Russia more than 70, both air forces still have jets to devote to the war. However, air and missile defense have made many of those aircraft worthless, according to General James Hecker, commander of U.S. Air Forces in Europe. U.S.-supplied anti-radiation missiles allow Ukrainian pilots to target Russian radars and anti-aircraft batteries, while U.S.-made kits enable Ukrainian jets to launch gravity bombs from greater distances. Nevertheless, the lack of close air support and complex air defense weaponry could limit U.S. troops' ability to conduct such support in future conflicts. Charles Brown, the U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff, has emphasized that future battlefields will pose greater complexity and danger to the Air Force. Brown's main initiative, Accelerate Change or Lose, aims to replace the aircraft and other components of the force that are ill-suited for such an environment, including the A-10 Thunderbolt, a ground attack jet designed in the 1970s for close air support missions. The Congress has long been opposed to retiring the A-10 without a dedicated replacement. However, they recently agreed to allow the Air Force to retire 21 of the jets in 2023. The service had planned to retire the remaining 260 by the early 2030s, but Brown indicated that it may happen faster, stating that the jets will probably be out of our inventory over the next 5 to 6 years. Brown acknowledged that the A-10 is an exceptional aircraft in an uncontested environment, but pointed out that the challenge is that the Air Force will be operating in more contested environments in the future. Combatant commanders worldwide have shown little interest in the A-10 because it's a single-mission airplane. Brown highlighted that other aircraft like the F-16s, bombers, and the F-35 can perform the role of close air support with excellent capabilities. Experts and observers have expressed skepticism that other jets can perform the same kind of close air support missions as the A-10 Thunderbolt. This is because the low and slow-flying A-10 is acknowledged to be more vulnerable to modern anti-aircraft weapons. They are concerned that an apparent reduction in training requirements may lead to the close air support skill set atrophying among U.S. pilots.